Look, I get it. You see 2025 and think, oh good, more dystopian sequels. But I'm here to talk about something far more ominous, the cold, hard reality of the calendar. You see, 2025 is a WTF year. And if history has taught us anything, it's that if a year starts with WTF, you might as well kiss your regularly scheduled programming goodbye. Think I'm being dramatic? Let's rewind the historical VHS tape, shall we? Because, spoiler alert, years starting with WTF have a bit of a track record. And as we hurtle toward 2025 like a runaway train fueled by existential dread, it's worth asking ourselves, are we really prepared for what this WTF year might bring?
Our first stop on this chronological highlight reel of Wednesday-induced chaos takes us back to 1986. On April 26, 1986, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant decided to liven up a sleepy Saturday morning by throwing a reactor meltdown party. The fallout was vast, and the world got a crash course in the joys of invisible radioactive contamination. But hey, why stop at one major event when you can have a whole buffet of geopolitical turmoil? The People Power Revolution in the Philippines ousted a dictator, and the US decided to engage in a bit of international relations by bombing Libya. 1986, ladies and gentlemen, a year that started on a Wednesday and went about as well as a lead balloon at a helium convention.
Fast forward a decade, and we arrive at 1997. This Wednesday year decided to shake things up by kicking off with the handover of Hong Kong. After over 150 years under British rule, Hong Kong was returned to China under the One Country, Two Systems framework. Speaking of crashing down, let's not forget the Asian financial crisis, which swept through the region like a rogue wave, leaving a trail of economic devastation in its wake. Suddenly, those tiger cub economies everyone was raving about looked more like soggy kittens. And just when you thought things couldn't get any bleaker, the world decided to have a little get-together in Kyoto to discuss climate change. The result? The Kyoto Protocol, a treaty that aimed to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but ultimately proved about as effective as a screen door on a submarine.
Chapter 3, 2003, Invasion, Expansion, and One Big Blackout. Hold on to your hats, folks, because 2003 is a real doozy. First up on the agenda, the invasion of Iraq. The invasion and subsequent occupation of Iraq had far-reaching geopolitical consequences, many of which are still being felt today. But hey, while the Middle East was embroiled in conflict, Europe decided to throw a party. Well, not exactly a party, more like a really awkward family reunion where everyone was forced to share a currency and pretend they liked each other. That's right, 2003 saw the expansion of the European Union, welcoming 10 new member states into the fold. And just to prove that 2003 wasn't done messing with us, August decided to go out with a bang, or rather, a blackout. The North American blackout plunged millions into darkness, exposing the vulnerabilities of our power grid and our reliance on electricity.
Chapter 4, 2014, From Annexation to Epidemic, a Wednesday special. Zooming ahead to 2014, we find ourselves grappling with a whole new set of Wednesday-induced headaches. This time, the trouble started in Eastern Europe, where Russia decided to annex Crimea from Ukraine. Enter the rise of ISIS, a terrorist organization so brutal, so ruthless, so terrifyingly effective at using social media, that they made everyone from world leaders to your tech-savvy grandmother say, okay, this is officially bad. And just when you thought it was safe to turn on the news without having an existential crisis, the Ebola outbreak in West Africa hit the airwaves. Suddenly, everyone was an armchair epidemiologist, debating the merits of quarantines and hazmat suits.
Outro Wednesday 2025. Brace yourselves. So, there you have it. A brief, and by brief I mean utterly terrifying, glimpse into the Wednesday years of yore. As history shows, years starting on a Wednesday are often tumultuous, unpredictable, and prone to throwing a wrench in the gears of global stability. With 2025 on the horizon, could we be facing another year of major geopolitical upheaval? Predictions suggest NATO and the USA might enter Ukraine directly to repel Russia, while China could take advantage of the deployment to attempt an invasion of Taiwan. The geopolitical chessboard is set for a high-stakes game. NATO's involvement in Ukraine could trigger a series of retaliatory measures from Russia, including cyber attacks and economic sanctions. Meanwhile, China's ambitions in Taiwan could escalate tensions in the South China Sea, drawing in neighboring countries and potentially leading to a broader regional conflict. The economic ramifications could be severe, with global markets reacting to the instability, leading to potential recessions and financial crises. The future is uncertain, and if the past is any indication, we'd best be prepared for anything.